Welcome back, everybody. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast, coming to you from sunny Denver, Colorado. It's a little bit snowy last week. It's now sunny. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get around these parts, man. But I'm going to tell you this. It's good to be back in studio. We got another repeat guest. Louie's back in the building. You might remember her from episode 31 when we were still audio only. But you know what, guys? We're on YouTube now. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are watching on YouTube so you never miss an episode of this. And we are brought to you by Wild Outdoor Adventures.
That's WOAMEET.com. Wild Outdoor Adventures, people. This is a great company, an awesome website. On the website, let me just go into that. You can do blogging on there. They have hope for teens, hope for veterans, entrepreneurial stuff as well. And it's free to sign up. And it's also free to see what they're doing, see all their activities. And a lot of their activities are actually zero charge, unless if there's equipment rentals, things of that nature. So this is a way, if you're in Colorado, if you're from out of state, you want to see what Colorado is like, that you can go on the trails with veterans of the trails, I should say, and or vets of the military.
And that's truly trekking those trails, bro.
Uh-huh.
Summer's winding down here in Colorado, but I'm going to say this. You guys know there's still some warm weekends coming up. We got Sober October. We're going to need some things to do other than drinking, so hiking might be one of those options. So head on over to WOA Meet, sign up for free, check out all these great things they got going on. You know, it doesn't cost you anything but your time. You're going to meet great people, have some great experiences, good conversations, and you're going to see the beauty of Colorado. And that's less dreaming and more exploring.
We are also brought to you by mountainmade.life. That's crystal clear CBD for you.
Mountain Made CBD, guys. You hear it week after week. It's crystal clear CBD designed for an activated lifestyle or a regular lifestyle like mine. Be sure to check out that 50 milligram build. Check out that boost, that puff, that recover. Offering great products, guys, across the board. It's crystal clear CBD. They just unveiled the auto ship, auto send feature. Auto pay, auto ship, I should say.
Make it easy.
You set it up. You save a little bit of money. You don't have to worry about it. It's out of sight, out of mind.
Yep. Just like me. I forget some things sometimes. And, you know, whenever the bottle runs low, you're kind of like, oh, I got to reorder that. I got to reamp it. But, you know, this will take a thought process out of it once you know which products you like and you know which ones treat you the best. I personally like the Boost the most, that 10 milligram with the electrolytes. That's my fave. But the build is also great. I've only used the Recover a couple times. It did give me some good dreams and heavy sleep, which was nice. I know Kevin uses that one nightly.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
But, you know, these products are designed to alleviate pain, alleviate stress. And I actually took a couple of the boosts before, or builds before we started this. Sorry, boosts before we started this. And man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. And that's the main thing about it is to feel good and feel normal, right? It's not about, you know, because there's questions about CBD, like what does it do? How should I feel on it? You should feel normal. You should feel good. And there's no high, you know?
Yeah, like Mike Patchen says over there at Mountain Made, you know, CBD treats everyone a little bit differently, okay? And it's one of those deals that it's not necessarily about what you feel. You're not, maybe some people won't feel euphoric. It's about what you don't feel. You're eliminating a little stress. You're increasing some sleep time, you know, cutting down on maybe an upset stomach. There's a lot of things that CBD does to benefit you, and Mountain Made really does it the best, I feel like. They're shipping nationwide, guys. If you want them on your shelves and you're able to carry a little bit of CBD, Mountain Made is ready to go. If you're an athlete and you want to be a brand ambassador, hit them up.
Mountain Made Mob.
That's that Mountain Made Mob. And guys, that's hashtag go like hell. Go like hell, baby. And let's get into this thing. This is episode 67. We got Louie back in the building. It's been a little while. How have you been?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, great. It's always good to sit down, you know, catch up. What's been going on, Louie? Fill us in.
Yeah, you've been busy since you've been on
question.
last.
You've been real busy. I've been following on social, and it's like I am excited for this podcast to see what's going on.
There's so much since we last spoke. It's at the same time it feels like not enough. Well, let's see. I started getting more into music production, and then because of that, started building out the home studio. And then I met with a label that's out in California called 3 Theory. And so I was working with them to learn about publishing stuff. They were mentoring me a little bit. And then after that, I was talking with the owner about my prior life in advertising. And so he and I started talking about working with the label as a sync agent. So I just started that a week ago or so. I think that about sums it up.
So a lot of recent developments. Now the studio, because I've been seeing that come together. I mean, you literally just finished it.
Yeah. Kind of finished. I still have to build all the acoustic panels. I'm waiting on electricity.
Okay.
There's some electricity, but it's not, reliable quite.
So you're going to do like the egg crate kind of foam in the acoustic room, or
Probably,
or the vocal room, I should say.
yeah. Actually, with that, I'm thinking of using blankets, sound absorption and sound blocking blankets, and then hanging that around in there. And then I'll probably just build a couple of acoustic panels and bass traps and then put them around the main room.
How much square footage is this studio?
Uh,
Roughly.
10 feet by 14, 140.
So it's basically going to be, a 5-6 man band kind of thing could play in there, or
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have a band in there per se. I was thinking I'd probably do small. It's mainly for my own vocals. If I can track other vocalists or singer-songwriters if they come in, and then maybe a 3-person band. But I'm not really setting it up to have bands in there.
Okay.
I mean, that helps because, if you're getting all these people in and you don't have all that space, they're bringing in all this equipment all the time
Yeah.
and dinging up the drywall and scratching the fresh paint.
Yeah.
And, and you've been in bands like that. That's what I've heard about is all the band drama.
Yeah, and I'm
Sounded
not
it.
planning on having metalheads in there. I'm not really set up for having the band or the guitarist and drummer compete with noise, so just keeping it small.
Help the neighbors out a little bit.
Yeah.
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 So is it going to be? Are you going to offer? Because I saw on your ad, you posted an ad to Instagram, which looked great, by the way. I think you even did a little singing at the end there, which was pretty cool. And is it going to be? Because I've played in situations. There's a place not far from here that my band, the Ridge Runners, we recorded at. Mm-hmm. Are you offering those kind of services? Is it an open jam kind of thing? What are you thinking?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really thought that far. Mainly, I'm looking at whatever I'm producing. If I need a different singer to come in, I might have them come in and say, okay, I need this kind of voice to come in. And I'll come in and record them.
Okay.
Most of it's digital. And then I think that's about as far as my thought process has gone,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah, I remember last time you were on, you were telling us you did a little bit of recruiting for different kind of vocal positions and different
Yeah.
genres and things like that. Because I remember saying, keep me in mind if you want a little bit of that hillbilly twang. So,
Oh, that's right.
and that still holds
right.
true to now. So,
Are you still? So you're still doing that where like they'll show you a clip of the TV show or whatever it is, and they're like, make some music for this clip.
Yeah, I did a little bit of that. I'm actually probably going to do a little bit more of that this fall. But yeah, so most of it is because I'm still within the songwriting realm as before, and so most of the space is mainly being used for my own songwriting and then casting vocals.
Okay.
Or possibly casting an instrumentalist if I need certain instruments in there. So it's very simple.
have you had a lot of time, I would imagine, over the last, 6 to 10 months with all the chaos going on in the world to do a little writing? Have you been sitting down?
Oh, I feel so guilty
Really?
about that.
You haven't been writing?
I feel
I haven't
so
either,
bad
so-
because
I haven't
written anything.
I haven't taken advantage of quarantine either in any
I
way
feel
like
so
that.
bad. I've mainly been researching and just learning a bunch of things as much as I can. I was really stuck in the publishing side of it and learning about, all the royalty and song registration. And so
yeah.
I've been going to a lot of webinars to learn about music supervision and getting music placed in films. And so I spent more time doing that and not as much writing as I would like to. And I feel so bad.
Well, I mean, we had Brant was on a couple weeks ago. He's a stand-up, comedian, and he was telling us that during, everyone had the same expectation. Like, man, what you been doing? Have you written new jokes during quarantine and stuff like that? And he's like, no, I just haven't. Just haven't had it. Hasn't been going on. Even though everyone's locked in at the house, the creativity's probably still there. I know I've been wanting to play the guitar, but I just haven't. Literally, when COVID hit, we shut the band down, for obvious
Yeah.
reasons, and none of us have gotten back to it. It's been the longest I've gone since I started playing music that I haven't played music.
So
And-
you haven't just chilling at your house, like
I mean, I
picked up
picked-
your guitar and like, because I remember I would go over there and you'd all stand up and put one leg on the chair and,
I mean, I'm not
and
saying
like start playing and stuff.
if I've had a little whiskey, I might play a tune.
Yeah,
that
but
might
not
happen.
to the level that you
that I
think
was.
you would. Yeah.
I mean, I was playing guitar 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
My favorite guitar, my Martin, is behind, the backdrop over there, and I haven't touched it. It hasn't happened. So I don't know if I can attest that to the quarantine or the COVID situation as much as just other things have taken priority for me.
Yeah. I know.
I've been kind of a flubber or something, a sludger.
What is that?
I don't know. It's like during quarantine, I've just been kind of letting it happen, and then I end up getting an ankle injury. Like my girl and I, we went up to Oregon to go work from home there because we're both working from home. And the last step walking into this Airbnb, I got the worst ankle injury in my life. It's still jacked up right now. Like, it still hurts and like all this other stuff. So like I've put on like, dude, I swear, like I put on like 40 pounds and during COVID, and just as of like the last month, like I've taken off maybe 5 to 7, maybe 10 pounds. But you know, there's all those videos of people out there where they're like, hey, you know, never again will you have an opportunity in your life to, you know, you're never going to have this kind of time again. And if you aren't,
yeah.
And then I'm sitting there just like, what's a sludger? Maybe that's what I am. You know?
I don't know. Flubber. Flubber was good.
Flubber.
Although when I think of Flubber, I think of the, you know, Robin Williams green goo thing hopping around.
Did that word even exist before that movie? Oh, well, like a flubber. You flubbed it.
Yeah, I think it existed. But Robin Williams, I miss. I really enjoyed a lot of his stuff. You know, his comedy, his movies. He was good, man.
It's sad, man. Like it makes you wonder, like what happens, you know, as people are successful, people are in the public eye, like what happens to deteriorate like people's happiness to like.
I mean, some of that's already there before they get to that point, and they think that's going to fix it, and it doesn't. So there's that too.
Yeah, it's true. No, that's a good point. And you're around a lot of musicians and successful people. You know, you probably see a little bit of that along the way. I've seen a lot of it with musicians. You know, the substance abuse. You know, we've lost so many great musicians to suicide.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people we don't really know what people are dealing with.
I mean, there's I forget the actress's name, but in Japan, she was 36 and she committed suicide last night.
It's terrible.
You know?
It's terrible.
Last night, man.
It's just a sad deal, you know, and a lot of people are struggling with things out there. You know, some of them are struggling silently. People looked at Robin Williams as a great entertainer. I mean, like I said, he's one of my favorites. And he brought so much joy to people, you know, and you don't, until that act happens and that, you know, suicide and things like that, you go, man, what were we missing? Where were the signs?
What's the chef,
Chef Paul?
No, the one that traveled.
With the bee.
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain.
Yep.
And then I can't think of the comedian's name, but the comedian was saying he had the best job possible. You travel, you eat great food, and it's like, if that guy's
I mean, did you guys watch that series? Because he was like doing that series. It was like Parts Unknown. I believe is what it was called.
Bourdain, yeah.
And those episodes were pretty deep. Like he would talk about some deep things in those, but it always ended up being powerful, and like I felt motivated after those episodes. So it's curious to like, you know, why if you're producing content like that, if you're having a message that, you know, is opening the eyes to things, like is it like a flood of information that you're just like, man, reality is truly morbid, or
I don't know.
You know, like what is it?
It's really interesting too, because I always have this assumption that if you're out there and interacting with people, then you don't give yourself the time to think of stuff like that, or I don't know, your own feelings about yourself. But I guess that's not really true either, huh?
Yeah, it's just so different person to person, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a constant reminder that you don't really know what people are dealing with underneath it all. I mean, I've struggled with anger issues most of my life. You know, it's been something I've tried to get my hands around. There's been times where it's come up recently, and it's one of those things that I have to be mentally aware of.
Yeah.
You know, and constantly being aware of it, whatever it is that you have going on, being aware of it and wanting to make a change with it is what I learned. Because people ask me, well, how did you know, what's the best anger management technique? You know, being aware of it is the answer I give that. Any sort of problem, alcoholism, addiction, whatever it is, people are struggling with things.
Yeah. Being aware of it. That's a big one. Knowing when to stop yourself or whatever.
Sure. And I'm not saying it's easy, you know, but I think that's the first step, is acknowledging within oneself, this is an issue, you know, looking at my lifestyle, you know, or maybe even learning from someone else that has gone through a suicide or something that's unexpected. You know, I've lost a friend to suicide. It was terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and I go, man, what could I have done differently? You know, that's where I start to overthink it.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know if there's anything you could have done differently either.
Yeah.
That's the other hard part.
Sure. Yeah, mental health's a problem.
It's easy to overthink things.
It is, man.
Like I'm super analytical. I'm like one of those people that I'll lay down to go to sleep, and then I'll like be sitting there processing the day for like an hour, like while laying in bed trying to, like I can't help it. And it's easy to like get drawn into like beating yourself up and this and that. And we talked last week a little bit about, you know, changing your perspective on things, and And I was thinking about that after the episode. You know, I try to take this stuff home with me, like if somebody says something that's really powerful, or you know, to actually think about that and apply it. And I had noticed, like, you know, I was kind of just getting blah with my job. Like, I'm just like, you know, like, you know, what's the point other than the paycheck? And I was, you know, just I got stuck on that negative mindset.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it takes a little bit of, like, you know, looking inward and being like, you know, well, first I have to be aware that I'm thinking about it negatively. And then from there, it's like, you know, I'm able to work from home, you know, so that's a huge plus. You know, I'm able to have this income, which is a huge plus. And then also, compared to all the other jobs I've done, like, this is a lot better than those, you know, so it's like trying to bring in that positive
trying to count
perspective.
your blessings and all that. Yeah.
And it helped this week. It helped me, you know, be a little bit more chipper on the phone and, like, you know, make a couple extra calls, you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mindset that, you know, it doesn't necessarily come easy. I feel like it's experience, you know, and going through different things. I mean, you took the leap. You left the corporate world, right? You're like, I'm going to go pursue something different. I want to do what I want to do, you know? And I admire that. I think that takes a lot of courage, and you jumped into it full throttle. And it seems like it's working out great.
I hope so. I don't know. We'll see. It's only a year in. It's a year as of May, so a little bit more than a year. It's fun. There's a lot. I think I started out really strong, too, because I was trying to make up for lost time. I spent X amount of years in corporate, and I have a lot to make up for. And so I, you know, wrote my first song, I think that day that I quit, and then I got it produced, and then I sent it out to a couple of different places, and then sent it off to Durango, which is a songwriters conference here. It got accepted, and then I went really hard then, and then after that I started understanding everything that's involved with music, and I started understanding, okay, all this part of production, and then there's this part of mixing and mastering. And then I went down that rabbit hole, and then there's the publishing rabbit hole. And then after that, I got really overwhelmed. I said, there's so much I need to learn. And the more I started to understand that, then I think the more cautious I got in my writing, because I started thinking about all the things that I need to incorporate. It's a lot. There's a lot to learn.
There definitely is. When I was going to school, like, I was gung-ho about being in music and producing music, and it was like this, the ins and outs of the music industry, and like publishing, and you know, the royalties, and who owns what, and what kind of, you know, is it piecework, or are you going to get paid per play, or like, there's all these
and then
different
the sound frequencies, and
it's a lot. And like, you know, just one person going after that, like, that's a huge thing to go after, you know. And so it's like, how do you do it? Like, you just gotta do like one little thing at a time, you know, and just, like, you know, perfect it. Like, and it takes years. People go to school for,
I know,
forever to, like, learn this stuff.
Sure.
That's kind of the hard thing, though, too, is just not getting caught up in the learning mentality, because I think part of that, there's this book that someone recommended to me called what is it called? The War of Art. Not the art of war, the war of art. And the whole book is about all these different ways that people who are trying to get to their next better self have all these different ways that they block themselves. So they say, oh, I don't know enough about this, so I need to learn it. Or I don't know how to do this. Or even, you know, giving someone constructive feedback is another form of you blocking yourself from getting to your next best self. It's just interesting. It talks about creatives specifically and all the different ways that they, you know, prevent themselves and don't realize that they're doing it. Prevent themselves from succeeding and not realizing that they're doing it. So really, like, it's easy to go down the path of, I don't know how to do X, Y, Z, or I need to understand the different sound frequencies in order to mix properly, and to just say, I'm just going to make a bunch of music, which is probably the better path, and not get caught up in all the details.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too, man. It's because it comes back to, you do it because you love it, right? You don't want it to feel like work. Just like I always say with this podcast, it's like therapy to me to come down here and have a great conversation, to meet people. And the same goes with writing music.
Yeah.
You know, it's a way to express yourself. It's a way to get your message heard in a different way. It's poetic, you know, it's fun, it's art. And I'm not going to be, you know, claim to be real good at it, but I love it. I love when I do it,
Yeah.
I have a fun time doing it. And I think that alone, doing what you love, everything else will come with that as long as you constantly put energy into whatever that is. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. We're just doing it just because too, if not necessarily feeling like it needs to be assigned to things all the time.
Sure.
Too.
I remember I'd be making some beats back in the day, and I don't know how to play the piano, but like, I would think like, I have this like melody in my head, and I'm like, and I'm like, God, if I could just think that onto the digital whatever and like make that sound. But then you have to play around with it, and just like you can't get stuck on that, and you have to. And I had the book, I'd like, what is the G chord, and I would like find it, and then like hit it, and then like slowly do it, and like I still don't know how to play the piano, but I know there's a book right there that I could like play a couple chords if I needed to.
Yeah.
It's like it's simple solutions, and like with anything in life, I like what Kevin said there, and kind of like what you're saying too, is like you just got to go into it, you just got to go with it, and
dive in.
Yeah, they say like the devil's in the details, but like if like the details you're paying attention to is just getting it done and having fun, then like sometimes things will work themselves out,
Yeah.
But music is crazy, life is crazy right now, construction's crazy, and I was doing a lot of construction before I was sitting at the desk again right now, and
What kind of construction?
so I've done a bunch of residential, and then I was doing commercial, which was kind of way laid back and a lot easier than residential.
Like drywall and stuff.
Yeah, like
So you've been through the pain I went through recently.
Okay, so there was it was like 100-foot tall wall by like 300 feet long, and they wanted it soundproofed for like this workout studio that was next door. So then the building we were in would be soundproof. So then we had to like put up this insulation 100 feet up, and then we ran 3 sheets of drywall over the
That's
entire
what we did.
thing. Yeah,
3 sheets,
yeah.
yeah.
So it takes a long time when you have like that much going on, but it's just like anything else. Like if you want to do it and you do it right, then like once it's done, you're gonna be sitting in there like, yeah, this sounds good, or like, yeah, it's there's like a sense of accomplishment. It's, getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, it was nice.
There's probably a little trial and error that comes with it as well, I would feel like. Because everything, like you said last week, you're like, usually I fail at my first attempt at things, and the second attempt I can nail it. And not that it's going to be true all the time, but in that scenario, let's try it this way, let's try it that way. Like with this podcast, we've moved the lights around, the camera positions, everything. And I still don't even know if we have it right.
Yeah.
We're just...
But it's cool that you guys put yourself out there, too. I think that's where I get into the fear of, like, that perfection of, okay, if it's not good, I'm going to get, scared of the judgment or the comments or whatever. But you guys are great and just going to go for it and put it out there. And that's a huge blocker for a lot of people, myself included.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that you fear, is it fear, do you think, or is it just like a concern?
I don't know. I think there's part of it of, is this crap or is it good? Like there's a song, one of the songs I worked on in March that the co-writer pitched to a sync agency. And I remember she called me and said, hey, I'm going to pitch her a song. And I said, I don't think it's ready yet. I think that there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. I don't think it should be pitched. And then I felt really bad because I told her I was going to work on it and I never did. And so I said, okay, you should go ahead and pitch it because I don't know when I'll actually get to it. And I really didn't like the song. I hated it and I wanted to move on and I wanted to never think of it again. And then it got picked up. Whoever she pitched it to really liked it. So they took the song and then I sent it off to, there's 2 people I was working with at the time. Shen Neiman, who's worked with, now I feel really bad. I can't think of anyone's name. He's worked with Selena Gomez and with a couple of other people I can't think of right now. But anyway, he's been working with me, or I've been working with him, kind of a mentorship thing. And then the guy I'm working with now who owns 3 Theory label, and he specializes in getting music placed with film and TV. But anyway, I sent the song to both of them because I wanted feedback from them to confirm that she shouldn't pitch it. And I said, hey, my co-writer is going to pitch this song. I don't want her to. I think it's not ready yet. And I sent them the song and the original version. Anyway, this is getting long, but I was trying to get a confirmation from them saying, yeah, you shouldn't pitch it. This is bad. But they were like, no, it's actually really good. You should pitch it. And so that's one of those things of going down the self-criticism.
Well, sure.
But when you listen to it, like I bet you were about to say this.
I probably was.
Because when I was doing music, I would like replay the track and be like, oh, this little part, and like replay it again. And then by the time like anybody else have heard it, like I've listened to it.
That's true.
Like 200 times or like plus. And
That's
it's like,
true.
It's like you just beat your brain to death with like,
Yeah.
and then you're sick of it by the time that like it's ready for other people.
Well,
you know, so it's easy to be hard on yourself.
Yeah, that's true too. And I was so attached to, and I think this is another problem with songs when you go through like the process of having it with a co-writer and then having it with a producer and then having it with a mixer where it might change multiple times. I was so attached to the original version and I liked the sound of it. It was more of an Imagine Dragons kind of sound. And then when I worked with a different producer, it changed to this like, I don't know, trap pop kind of thing. And it just didn't sound like me, and I didn't like the way some of it sounded, and I think that was my qualm, and that's why. But I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I think self-criticism is something that I've done a lot, and it's one of the reasons I try not to listen to our podcast. I don't, you know, because
I laugh at us. I think we're stupid.
You watch them all? I can't watch myself after.
I mean, I'll like watch snippets. No, you go.
Well, just when we're doing the post edit, you know,
Yeah.
when we sit down and we're putting stuff in, we laugh because it's like, you know, we try to have a good time with it. But I think Joe Rogan kind of instilled in me like, don't read the comments, don't overthink it, don't listen to it back. I mean, there's a couple areas where I'd like to, you know, critique or whatever, but then you start to overthink it, I feel like. And it's easy to get caught into that. When you're putting something out there that you know you're passionate about, you know, people are going to hear it. There's going to be some, you know, constructive criticism. I like constructive criticism. You know, I can handle it. But it's easy to get in a, you know, a downward spiral, I feel like, and really start to overthink things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just probably a natural human reaction.
Yeah. And even constructive criticism is kind of dangerous. I think the most important thing you could do is remember to just keep it simple. So if you're not reviewing everything, you're not looking at everything, and you just say, I know these are two things I want to do different by my own standards, and then just work off of that. Not to be obviously ignorant to, you know, other people who might have valuable feedback, but I think sometimes you can really handicap yourself by trying to get everyone's feedback. And I think even getting specialists or experienced feedback is kind of dangerous too, because I run into the risk of wanting to get experts' feedback on a song because obviously they're more experienced and they know what they're doing. But if you do that, you might just never release anything.
Sure.
Actually,
And who knows? Maybe people will really like that.
yeah,
You know?
there's a couple of hit songwriters, and they say if you really like your music, don't share it with anyone until it's done, because everyone will give you feedback on it, and everyone has a different opinion, and
That's
you'll
true.
never release it.
And it pertains to different audiences, right? I mean, you know, I'll have someone show me a song that they're real passionate about. They're like, man, I love this song. I think you'll like it too. I'll listen to it. I'm like, you know, it's okay. It's probably not something that I'm going to listen to in the morning when I drive to work. And then I'm the same way. I'll share music with my friends, and they're like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful about it. It's art.
Yeah.
It's perceived differently,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's hard in the music realm too, because if you send it to a music supervisor, they'll say, well, I'd remove this chorus because it's too specific, and so to make it more general so that we can place it in film. And then you send it to a hit songwriter, and they'll say, well, this isn't really singable to the general audience, so we need to, lower the key or something. Then you'll send it to a songwriter, and they'll say, well, we should make this from this perspective and not this perspective. And so everyone has an opinion. You send it to, and mixing engineers are going to be the worst, because they're going to say, well, it has too much of this feedback, or this too much of this reverb. Everyone's going to have an opinion on it. And so I think what I need to do for myself is remember what my end goal is, and then get it to that point, and then, grain of salt from there.
So the end goal, well, I mean, the goal is probably different every time. I mean, so with the studio you've built now, what kind of content and stuff do you want to present to the public? And what's the goal of going forward with writing or bringing people in? Are you trying to be, doing music for leisure listening, movies, TV? What are you thinking with all that?
So I'm kind of different minds right now. And right now, because it's so new, I'm still experimenting. So I need to spend a good amount of time where it's just music for just myself, where I'm not thinking about, I want this to be a hit or I want this to get placed. And I just need a good amount of practice doing that, just so I get comfortable and feel good with what I'm working on. And then there's a couple of songs. So for example, I'm gonna get into remixing this fall. I'm gonna spend a lot of energy just remixing covers and doing that. And that I think I'll probably try to get placed. So I just spoke with a publisher last week and got a list from him of songs that they said that it's a cover wish list. So he said is that these are songs that are covers that we always get requests from that we want to get placed in different places. So now that I have that list, I can say, okay, I'm going to do a remix of these 3 songs and then get it, sing the vocals for it and then push those out to libraries or sync agencies or back to the publisher. And I don't know if any of this makes sense,
It does.
these terms. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
me if something doesn't make sense. So that's one goal. And then another one is I will probably work on some things for placement. I think that's just the best money maker right now. And then the songs are just for myself. I will maybe put them out there. Right now I'm trying to figure out is if I want to have everything under one name or if I need an artist name. And that's another thing. I don't want to get hung up on those kind of details. So.
Sure. Yeah, focus on the quality and the content of whatever's being produced. And
What we call it the CCQ.
the CCQ, consistency, quality, content.
Yeah, so we feel like if we do those three
Probably
things,
CQC, I guess, but
well, either way, same. But if we do those 3 things every single week, we have good quality, we have good content, and consistency, then we're gonna accomplish what we want to accomplish. So that's like one of the main things we focus on, like not what the conversation is going to be about, not anything other than like just making sure that we're checking those 3 boxes.
yeah,
That makes
absolutely,
sense.
absolutely. And this year has been like unlike any other year we've experienced. Anyone, my parents, no one has seen a year like 2020. So with music and the live entertainment scene, it's just so different now, and I know a lot of people they're doing at home live shows, Zoom shows, things like that, trying to put out content, because bar shows are pretty much out, right? I mean, there's bars open, but
Yeah.
What have you seen from that side of the music world?
I asked a couple of my friends recently if they're playing out, and there's a few of them. They have private events. So my friend in the band, Denver band, is Cully, who's amazing. Shout out to these guys.
What's their name?
Is Cully.
Okay.
They're amazing. They're a Spanish rock band. So they just played a private show at the Botanic Gardens, invite only, and I think that's what I've heard from a couple of my other friends too. And then I guess mainly streaming, but even streaming online for Venmo payment has declined. I haven't seen that
Really?
in the last month or so, but that was big for a little bit. Yeah, not a lot. I think everyone has I don't know if everyone switched to sync or it's just I've just heard about it more because I've just been in more, meetings and webinars on sync. But I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of that comes back. If and when it comes back. I mean, I feel like when it comes back, not if. Just that things are going to be different going forward. Are we going to have to wear masks every time we go to an event going forward? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, I don't think masks will be mandated.
I think a lot of people are going to hold on to that.
Still wear them. Yeah, I believe a lot of people still wear them. I mean, just moving forward, it's an opportunity for humanity to do it a different way.
Yeah.
Like Americans are so overworked and like I was watching this thing like where Americans have like the shortest amount of time eating a day. Like we on average eat like 30 minutes or something like that a day, 45 minutes a day. And then like in Italy, like they like take a whole afternoon off. And like, I think I mentioned this last week probably too, but it's interesting, the whole American mindset and how this is going to change things moving forward and put more trust in the people as far as like, you're able to work from home and, production's still there. So why not?
Yeah.
And the new world after this it's interesting to think about, man.
It's never going to be the
It really
same.
is.
One of the calls I had, they were all trying to figure out what's the plan? What are we going to do to pivot? And one guy asked, he's pitching to his clients to do a pay-per-view thing. And I remember saying, that's not going to work. And I told him, I said, I would never pay for a pay-per-view concert when I can just watch that on YouTube. And he didn't understand it. He goes, it's good to have a young mindset. It's like, it's not about that. I mean, you can do a search for any artist you like on YouTube and watch an old show of theirs. There's nothing different that pay-per-view offers when artists are going on Instagram Live and bringing in their fans to sing along with them or calling them on the spot to do a performance with them. And it's more interactive. I don't know. Pay-per-view it was a silly idea. I mentioned to someone that I overheard that some artists were going to just do drive-in theaters. Mm-hmm. And then some people got upset. I'm like, I'm sorry I brought that up. But I guess it's hit or miss on different things people are experimenting with.
Sure. I think a lot of people are just eager to do shows and to be performing again.
Sure.
You know, comedians are doing drive-ins, musicians, whatever it takes to get people to be entertained again, right? We want to be entertained, especially here in America. You know, we get bored easy. Social media, the endless scroll. Live entertainment is what we know and love. And that's where I fell in love with music, was seeing it live. Feeling the energy, seeing the lights.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's awesome, and I can't wait to go to a live show again.
I know, same here. I did hear that the symphony was at Red Rocks recently.
Really?
There weren't that many people in the crowd, obviously. I don't know if that was the limit or if not that many people knew it was happening. But that's cool.
I mean, like, things are sold out right now. Like, everyone is buying these camper vans. People are buying tents out.
It's crazy.
Like,
no swimming pools anywhere.
yeah.
No, you can't find swimming pools.
Or like I went to go buy an air pump for the bike. Can't get one anywhere,
Yeah.
So if you can't go anywhere and you're stuck inside, I'm gonna do a would you rather. I know you're married, so maybe you'll have an interesting take on this. But would you rather be married to a 10, like looks wise? Would you rather be married to a 10 with a bad personality, or would you rather be married to a 6 with an amazing personality?
6 for sure. Yeah, all the way.
100%. I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
The Hot Crazy Matrix, changed my mind on relationships in general. The Hot Crazy Matrix is, if you guys haven't seen it on YouTube, it's tremendous. It pretty much compartmentalizes a simple scale.
It's not to men though. It's like specific.
What's that? So what is
There's
it?
like a Hot Crazy Matrix on, and it's just about women. So I don't know if this is
No, it's
like...
not just about women. There's a man scale on there
Oh,
too.
is it?
Yeah, the same guy.
I wasn't paying attention
So
to
the
that
Hot
part.
Crazy Matrix is a simple scale that was put into place. Okay, and I don't know if I really want to blow those guys up on YouTube, but I'm going to say that it's a simple scale. It basically just shows the crazier the individual gets.
No, the hotter
No.
an individual gets, the
Well, there's
crazier they get.
It's a typical scale, and there's a hot crazy line. Okay, so for men, typically the way we look at it, the hotter the woman gets, there's a crazy line.
Okay.
And it progressively, it's like a 45-degree angle. It goes like that, and you want to stay below the crazy line is ideal. So there's the fun zone, the date zone, the wife zone, and then there's the danger zone. Danger zone is like above a 7 crazy, above an 8 hot. You start getting all these different scenarios. You end up in jail, your car gets keyed, your tires get slashed. That's the danger zone, right? We're not going there. So you want, from what I see, the 6 to the 8s with a good personality, to me, would mean you're below the crazy line, right? You're not dealing with someone that's wild.
Yeah.
They're great people.
Yeah.
That's who we want to be with.
Yeah, I like an easy life.
Yeah, that's what it's about, really. And it's about who you are inside.
I think most listeners and people are going to choose, because looks are temporary, right? But unless if you're willing to morph your looks, which just doesn't make you look human.
That's fake.
So yeah, I'm going with the 6 with the awesome personality. I'm having them nice conversations. We're talking bowel movements and everything.
I do it too with a nice person, with a great personality.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think that just says a lot about, what's really important to people.
Yeah.
Because then it's not about the looks, and I think that's where like social media and stuff becomes a problem, right? People
I know all the photoshopping and.
I mean, how many times have we talked about that? The filters, all that stuff. People are putting all this content out there for validation. I look good. I feel good.
Well, it's not just the look stuff too. It's the activity. Someone was telling me the other day. I'm kind of outing myself. They're like, it looks like you have a lot going on. I said, no, I just happen to post when I have something going on. But yeah, so there's that too.
Sure.
It's definitely easy to get caught in the trap of measuring yourself to someone else, but really don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, let's focus on what really matters, and that's where getting to know people at a core level, having real conversations, exchanging opinions, learning from each other. These are all things that I fear that humanity has kind of gotten away from, and it's causing a lot of friction between friendships and relationships.
It's like people are maybe getting more awkward nowadays because it's all done through social media and this and that. It's like do they know how to have a conversation in person? Like,
Actually, with COVID, I was kind of not nervous, but I was thinking, okay, the one good thing about COVID is maybe I'll be less weird when I see people because I've been inside the house too much.
okay.
But so this was a good test because this is my kind of first time interacting.
Oh, is it
since
really?
COVID, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. You're doing fine.
Yeah. I'm glad you're able to break away from the quarantine to do the podcast.
Yeah.
A few people have said that. They're like, it's just good to be out of the house. You know, to come
Yeah.
down here and have a
You
conversation.
know, that social awkwardness, though, because you've just been in your own head for so long.
Yeah.
It's like, am I weird now? I'm
Yeah,
probably weird.
the introvert has like risen strong in me to like the point where I just like I'm kind of I'm an introvert extrovert. Like, I get energy from being around people. I don't like to be alone. Like, when my girlfriend leaves, I call Kevin and I'm like talking to him on the phone
Yeah.
for hours. And you like it. You call me.
I mean, look, we're friends, okay?
Yeah. So
We're there for each other.
So I feel that. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to deal with people. But, you know, at the same time, like, I need to have
Yeah.
some sort of interaction in order to,
The
like,
same.
if I was by myself in my house, like, if I didn't have Meredith and I was just in there by myself, it would be really tough. It would have been really tough.
Yeah, I know a couple people that are locked, or at the beginning when you really had to stay inside. Our friend, he was locked in the house by himself and then couldn't see anyone. I felt so bad for him, but I couldn't imagine that. Same thing. I need that, like, energy from other people. Yeah, introvert, extrovert thing.
Sure. Yeah, and everyone's a little bit different. I mean, I work with the public. I'm in the grocery biz. So I see people on the daily. I've seen it through all this. I've seen the chaos.
In the trenches, taking grenades.
I've been in the trenches taking grenades, Louie. That's what I've been doing.
Sacrificing your life daily.
I mean, look,
Thank
I'm out
you
there.
for your services.
Oh, yeah. You're very welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, that's an awkward exchange, to be thanked for being an essential employee. But and that term is mildly put now. It's like, what is essential? Because I felt like when COVID first hit, everything was essential.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like you need your toenails clipped. That's essential.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And it's going to be defined. Like, I love the credit people were giving themselves by saying, I'm an essential. Thank you, guys. By the way, I don't want to discredit that, but just the credit people were giving themselves by saying, I'm an essential person and I deserve XYZ. It's like, well, if, you know, any circumstance could happen where then those terms are redefined as something else. Because I also remember people posting on, like, these are the only people that matter. And this is why I don't remember. I just remember people saying, like, these are the most important people in the world and they've always been, or something. It's like, well, if the situation was different, then the essentials defined would be different. I don't know if that was a necessary rabbit hole to go down, but
No,
it's
that-
interesting.
Makes sense.
It's a good point. I mean,
Food for thought here. And we eat good.
we eat pretty well,
No, you know, food for thought. Like, we're eating good. Because we have a lot of thought.
which makes for good eating, Arthur.
Yeah.
Makes for a nice feast.
Sometimes
feel
I put down something and Kevin picks it right up. And then other times, like, I'm trying to pick up what he's putting down, and it's slippy.
Oh, there's times it gets a little bit wild, but just like this year's been wild. You know,
So crazy.
it's just been crazy.
I've kind of enjoyed it.
Have you?
Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not doing the commute to work. Like, honestly, I'm more productive because then I'm not trying to leave work at a specific time. Like, I'm willing to work
Yeah.
later because I have it all set up and I don't need to get home.
No, that commute. Yeah.
Yeah,
no
the commute
time.
sucks. Like, so I'm happy that that's out.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, it's nice not to have judgment from people in the office because I'm kind of a fidgety person. Like, I like to get up and
That's an understatement, bro.
I like to move around. I am an extremely fidgety person, and yeah, like I used to get judged. Like, people be like, "Why is this dude always getting up out of his seat?" And it's just like, dude, I went from construction to sitting in a chair, and so, like, all that's gone. Now it's just me making sure I'm doing the work right to not leave people hanging, and like, there's no other
Yeah.
judgment other than based on my work, you know, and,
Yeah.
and that's been healthy for me.
Yeah.
It really has.
It's good.
Do you think? Because I made a comment to Arthur the other day, and I said, once all this is over, whenever that's going to be, you know, whatever this is, and we go back to the office lifestyle. I mean, I'm already out there. So once the general public goes back to the office and that expectation is in place, do you think that the productivity, the on-time level will be the same? Because I feel like some people have gotten very used to just rolling out of bed, logging onto the computer. I feel like it's going to have an impact.
I think my theory is that people are so comfortable with each other now, seeing them in each other's homes and taking their time, that they're going to be more understanding. They know their kids now. So you're like, oh, I'm taking care of Annabelle, so I'm going to drop her off and I'm running late. I think people will be easing into getting back to the normal way, and they're going to be understanding of that, and it'll just keep leaking into this very casual. I don't know. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Like they'll say, let's say the first couple weeks or a couple months or so, they're like, well, some schools are open, some schools aren't. And so they're having to adjust for all these different people's schedules. And because of that, it's going to be completely different in this rigid 9 a.m. on the dot. Like everyone's got to be understanding now. And what I hope doesn't change is the bullshit. Can I say that word?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. You're good to go.
Okay.
We're explicit here.
Okay. Like if you're sick, you got to let us know, or, you only have 3 days max, or all that other stuff. I hope that from now on, if you feel a little ill, you just stay home and stop spreading stuff. So I hope that stays.
Yeah,
I hope
even
to
if it's
keep
just
that.
a common flu, like,
Yeah.
stay home. Don't get other people sick.
Yeah, because
like,
that kills people too.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. And that's a good point. And that needs to be also underlined, I feel like. And one thing I'm curious to see is through this cold and flu season, right, here in 2020, the typical cold and flu season,
Right.
with everybody taking the
Yikes,
sanitizing and mask precautions,
Huge
what
point.
are the numbers going to look like this year?
Huge point.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, good point.
I'm just curious to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
wonder if it drops.
I think it might. I think
it'll
might.
probably drop a bit.
And so what's
Crazy.
that going to
That's
do?
been the secret the whole time.
You think?
Probably. Just wash
Ooh,
your fucking
conspiracies.
hands.
Oh,
Is
conspiracy.
this a conspiracy though, or is it just about maybe a scientific thought?
I mean, there's like this whole
Kind of both. No.
There's
Yeah.
this whole conspiracy about like how, now that the government's having more control over the citizens and this and that, like we're never gonna get it back, and I don't know.
It's interesting. I love that you went that direction. I don't know why. I got so wrapped up in conspiracies.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Midway through all of this. Yeah.
It's dangerous.
What was your favorite one?
Your favorite conspiracy?
Yeah,
What's
the
your
one-
favorite
the-
conspiracy?
I
the
don't
one-
know.
the one that you went
I
down
don't
the
know.
rabbit hole the
I went
furthest on.
down a deep rabbit hole with all the Tom Hanks stuff at the beginning.
Ooh,
What was that?
Because he's a pervert.
Yeah, the pedophilia.
pedophilia
Tom
ring.
Hanks is a pedophile,
Oh, no.
and that he's in cahoots with
Epstein.
Oprah. And then I looked at his. They're
didn't hear
like,
about
go
that.
look at his Instagram, and I looked at his Instagram. Like, that is weird. So then, oh man, and then it just leaked into this all this other stuff.
Have you seen like the Britney Spears stuff
No.
about like how
Oh.
like the whole Free Britney movement, like how
Yeah, what
she's
was that?
posting like some really weird videos, and like she's always wearing like the same 3 shirts.
Let's be honest. Britney's been a little bit out there for a while.
Yeah, dude, she looks like her soul is sucked out of her. Like her eyes, like you look into her eyes,
I
you're
know
like,
she doesn't look the best. But
yeah.
The conspiracy
Yeah.
thing's pretty wild. Tom Hanks. Look, I love Castaway.
Yeah, where's Wilson?
Big.
Okay, great. I mean,
Big.
probably one of my
Big is a
favorite
great
actors
movie.
ever. So I don't
Big
want
was
to
good.
believe that he's a pervert and that he's done things
Well.
like that. But it's possible, right? It's very possible, and there is evidence to suggest it. Maybe I don't know.
I got a story for you guys.
Let's do
Okay.
let's
Okay.
do it.
This is how it all started. All right. Before the lockdown happened, so it's my grandma's 90th birthday was this year in the Philippines. And so the whole family was supposed to go out to the Philippines. And we've been planning it for forever. And so we started to look at getting our tickets in January, I think, or February. We were supposed to go out there in March. So we're looking at our tickets, and this is before everything went crazy. And I remember looking at the flights with my brother, and every flight was making us go through China. And I remember saying to him at that point, I said, isn't this weird? It's kind of eerie how much they're forcing us to go to China. Like, why do they want us to go to China so bad? It's really weird. What's the catch?
Yeah.
And I remember him laughing about that, and we both stopped and like, it is really weird. Because, for example, it was so much cheaper to go through China. Let's say, this is a bad specific number, but I don't remember. Let's say the ticket only cost $300 if we did a layover in China versus $3,000 if we went, to Philippines and went to laid over in Japan. It was really weird how big of a difference, and all the flights were making us go to China. It was super weird. And then at that time, I was taking a hip hop class at Metro, and I remember that the teacher was talking about there was something else that was weird that was going on at that time, and he was saying, oh, there's people that are getting sick with COVID, and it's this thing. He was saying how it has existed for a while. It's on his spray bottle. COVID's been around. And so I was like, oh, okay. So they're maybe hyping it up. And then what else? There was something else that happened. And at that same time is when I found out about the Tom Hanks stuff. And so I was already going down that rabbit hole. And then I remember when COVID became a bigger thing and everyone was locked inside, I said, watch, someone is going to come out that you wouldn't expect that's considered a good person they're going to have them be their scapegoat and have them say, oh, this person has COVID, just to make everyone freak out and stop in their tracks and take it more seriously because they aren't. And then Tom Hanks came out with having COVID. And I was like, I told you, because Tom Hanks is considered this nice guy, but really there's all this pedophilia stuff going on and it's all coming together and it's all going to come out. So it was pretty crazy. So that's kind of the roadmap I went down for a little bit.
Huh.
Now, I'll put you on the spot. Do you think Tom Hanks is guilty of being a pedophile?
Like if it's true, I don't know. His Instagram is weird, but at the same time, anyone could make an Instagram account. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know. And I don't want to believe it because I like Tom Hanks.
I mean, I don't know him personally to say I like him. I know I like the movies he's been in. But that speech from Gervais. Remember the Grammy speech?
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where it made him very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They kept cutting to him.
And everyone was talking about the Tom Hanks thing. Like, look
Yeah.
at Tom Hanks' uncomfortable face or whatever.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, Ricky Gervais is a pretty funny guy.
Was crazy. I remember I didn't really care to see that, and I heard so much hype about it. And finally, my brother made me watch. He's like, "You just need to watch this." I'm like, "This is crazy." It was crazy because it was after I had just learned about. Learned is maybe the wrong word because I don't know if any of it's true, but just read about all the crazy stuff, and then yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting.
Yeah, it is, and I think that there's a hashtag going around. I don't know if it's Save the Children, Save the Kids, something like that. That kind of ties into a lot of this. Look, pedophilia is a big issue. Okay.
Yeah, it's wrong.
You brought it up a couple weeks ago. Eric has said it's one of the simple topics that will unite people no matter where you stand politically. Doesn't matter. We're against pedophilia. Yeah. You're a pervert, you go to jail, you're a pedo, you're probably going to get murdered, or beat up in jail. No one stands for that shit, right? This is a big issue. This is a big issue. And I wonder, and I'm concerned, how is mainstream media going to cover it? Are they going to report the real facts? I feel like there's a lot of shit being swept under the rug. This Epstein thing has opened up a can of worms.
Because if they got money and stuff like that, then money's power,
Yeah, and there's so much distrust in the media already because of the cover-up when some of the reporters tried to come forward with the Epstein stuff. So, I mean, can you really trust the media anyway? That's the other, our source of information is nowhere to be found. And right now we're just relying on gossip, essentially.
It's true. And conspiracies... with 9/11 conspiracies and the way it all, began with internet blogs and things like that, YouTube videos, it's really only been relevant for the last 20 years, I feel like, in the sense where you have that internet reach to bring other people in.
Yeah. Well, the moon landing conspiracy has been going on since the 60s.
Sure.
And then they say that's CG. Did you guys see Beast Wars in the early 90s? Like that Transformers Beast Wars CG? Mm-mm. I love that show. That was 90s CG in that, and it looked horrible. Like, there's no way that they had anything that was capable of producing computer graphics like that in the 60s,
Yeah.
There's always going to be conspiracies, I feel like. People are always going to question everything.
Well, and it's like, why
not?
Which is
good. It's good to do that, yeah.
Yeah. That way you're not programmed to just believe one thing.
Yeah.
We tell you this, it's got to be true. Why?
It's so easy to get swept up with the crowd too, because there's just so much. So that's the part of social pressure. Like even with you going to work and you feeling like you need to leave your desk constantly, there's that social pressure of, okay, I got to stay here even though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I would, not to be potty mouthing, but I would have to, drop the kids off at the pool, and I would sit there and make sure that I finished things like way longer than I would ever hold it at home.
Pooping.
Yeah, do pooping.
Yeah.
So
that's what it is.
So Pets 2, I watched that one recently. It's like it's
The
great.
Secret Life of Pets.
The Secret Life of Pets.
That's a tremendous movie.
Yeah, but the second one came out, and there's this little puppy named Pickles. And I love this puppy. And this puppy appears, he appears and he's like, talking about, he's like, oh, I gotta poop. And then it's like the old dog, he's like, well, you know what to do. You gotta go poop in a shoe, like that's how we do it. And then the dog comes back later and he's like, oh, Pickles, did you go poop in a shoe? And Pickles goes, no, I pooped in a boot. Your owner's not gonna find it for weeks. And like walks off. Like, I don't know why that's not relevant to anything, but that scene, it like changed my terminology. So now I'm like, saying poop in a boot and stuff. And that was a great show.
It's a great show. Does that help you when you poop at the office?
Fortunately, I haven't had to do that in months. But
That's true, yeah.
But you know, I don't know. Just check it out. Watch Pickles and that scene. It's funny. But so would you rather give up all drinks except for water, or give up eating anything that's cooked in a stove, on an oven or a stovetop? So it's
I
either
can give up other drinks
yeah.
except for water. Yeah. I like good cooked food. Or not even cooked food. I just like good food. And if it needs to be cooked, then so be it.
But you could still use a microwave. You could still use an open fire.
Oh, open fire would be
You know, you could still technically use a grill because that's not in it.
I'm going to need to hear the would you rather again.
So would you rather give up all drinks except for water, or give up eating anything that was cooked in an oven / stovetop?
So basically the oven's out.
Yeah.
But you can still do other cooking.
Yeah, like microwave, or, you know,
Grill, smoking.
you know, like digging a hole and burning a fire over it or something, baking something like that.
What do you think, Louie?
I don't mind having the water life for good food.
Yeah.
I like beer a lot, and that's a tough one. I'm going to have to go with, I will give up the oven so I can still drink beer.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, I think. What are you going to do?
Well, I was thinking about it, you know.
It's tough. You're the tiebreaker.
You know, and
That's true.
So I was thinking
We're
about
unanimous on the first one.
you know, like the health benefits moving forward, and yeah, like if I could only drink water, then like, you know, I'm gonna lose weight from like, you know, not drinking, you know, beers and stuff like that, and then
You can't protein shakes or shakes in general, smoothies,
yeah, I guess those are
All those
out.
are out.
juices.
I guess juices are out. It's only water. Because you're gonna have to like have like an area where you can cook. Like I don't want to just eat microwave food.
We live in Colorado. I don't want to go outside and cook all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. When I was looking at the question, I was thinking I would drink water as well. You know, because I primarily like to smoke the ganji, and so that would be like, you know, I don't need to drink booze if you know.
Yeah, I like beer. Other than Sober October next month, you know.
I mean, you're not losing a lot. You have all access to the same food. You just have to cook it a different way.
Cook a different way.
Well,
I
or you
almost
just
like
start
turnip
ordering
cooking.
out more.
And that's where it gets dangerous, Louie, because I'm going to tell you this. I have spent too much money on DoorDash.
Yeah, I've been bad this
Real bad for me.
month. Not month, but I don't even know what you call
Month.
this COVID term.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've
This
spent...
period.
It's just too easy.
Yeah.
You know, I'll wake up hungover with my girlfriend on a Sunday, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, we want Einstein's, but we don't want to go get it.
Yeah.
She's always like, well, let's just drive. We'll save money. I'm like, yeah, pay for the convenience.
Yeah.
And that's a trap.
It's bad. I remember one day I had a really bad hangover and I woke up in bed and I really wanted breakfast. So I ordered breakfast and I remember they came to the door. I opened the door and I didn't even close the door or sit down. I just sat right there in front of the door with everything open and just started shoveling it in my mouth.
That's a good visual.
And then I fell asleep. And
In
I
the same
might have
spot?
closed the door for that.
Well, and
Yeah.
you were hungover, right?
So hungover.
See, that's where the rules get bent a little bit, I feel like. When you're hungover, it's like, I don't care. I just want to try to feel better. So I'm going
Yeah.
to do what it needs to do.
Thank you.
You know, eating DoorDash and doing napping or eating it with the door open, whatever you got to do.
You're all neighbor walks by, you're all sitting there like,
I saw a photo of someone who posted eating in the bathtub with the to-go styrofoam. Apparently, it floats. I haven't tried that one yet, but
wow.
That's
Yeah.
So they're
It's
sitting
good
there
to
with
know.
it floating, eating a little
yes, it's good to
Wow.
know. I haven't tried it, but good to know.
I prune easily, you know, like if I'm in the shower too long, like I prune up too easily, and like I don't like it if my hands are like super clean, like where they're extra sensitive, like as if I had like raccoon fingers or something,
Yeah,
because they have the most sensitive hands on earth, and like I feel like
really?
yeah,
good to know.
yeah, the raccoon's fingertips are super sensitive.
How do you know that?
Wonder why? I
Animal
wonder
Planet
what's
or-
their
Well, don't you ever notice they're always like,
well, and then they
Feeling
have
around?
like really, I don't know.
So I
nimble
pet a
fingers.
raccoon real recently.
how recently?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I was sitting on my girlfriend's back porch, and she went to she went to get a little rest a little bit earlier than me. So I was sitting out there having a beer, and there's always animals coming up, dogs, cats. So it's natural for me to reach down and pet, you know, an animal that
Oh
approaches.
shit!
And I'm sitting there drinking a beer, and I reached down because I feel like it was a raccoon, and I looked down, and he looked at me, and it was a weird interaction. He went, he took off for the fence, and I went indoors, and I was very scared. Okay.
Yeah, I would have been too.
You know,
These things can be vicious.
Oh, they can be vicious, man. But I did pet one, and I'm sorry to take away whatever you were saying.
That they have sensitive fingers.
They have sensitive fingers.
Yeah.
I wonder what their reason is for that.
I mean, they're.
Why do you think they're so sensitive?
They're scavengers, you know, and like they probably do it at night, and so like they need to have like
heightened
that.
tips, heightened fingertips.
You guys ever seen the one where it's like, it was a video of like where they gave a raccoon like, it was like dissolvable sugar, and it was like a thing of sugar, and the raccoon was so happy, and he was like next to this water, and he like goes to wash it off like they do, and it dissolves into the water, and the raccoon, he's like, where'd it go? It's a funny video.
Whoa.
I haven't seen that.
You know, speaking of sugar and how the raccoon reacted, I saw this documentary recently that kind of freaked me out. It was about how... Okay, this isn't exactly what the documentary is about, but my takeaway was that sugar creates murderers.
Oh, wow.
So what they did in this it was about how... I don't remember what it was called. It was on Netflix, but how what you eat really does create who you are. And they had a test of some animals that they gave, not even animals, probably rats, that they gave a balanced diet of vegetables and, you know, meat and all this other stuff. That's very balanced. And then another one, they only gave it junk food. Nothing but junk food, just stuff you open in a bag, and sugars. And the animals that had junk food and sugar were aggressive and violent and impatient and had bad memory. They couldn't retain any memory of where they were or if surroundings were good or bad. And they would eat their young, and they were just very violent.
Jeez.
And then the other ones had they were kind. They were, they took care of each other. They remembered their surroundings, so they had better memory. But it was very interesting. Then after that, I got kind of scared of sugar and junk food and all of that. But
now, are you scared? Are you scared of natural sugar or like the fake sugars, like the high fructose
I can't do
shit?
This is tough because I even tried. My brother brought some real sugar. He said it's natural sugar, but it tastes like fake sugar to me. So I have to do the cane sugar stuff.
Cane sugar. Yep.
I say
like
I'm
sugar
scared of
raw.
it, but it was just a phase where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be careful with sugars and junk food. But I mean, I like sweets.
I was like watching the Zac Efron thing on Netflix.
That was good, right?
I haven't seen it.
Well,
So good.
Well, the water episode.
That's the episode that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like after that, I'm like, dude, I don't want purified water. Like, give me the minerals.
Yeah, same.
Because then you think about like the water, purified water, just soaking all the minerals out of your body.
Yeah.
When you drink it, so it's like, I've only bought one bottle of water that was like from a French spring.
Yeah.
Like since then. But,
Same.
Like, in the back of my mind, though, I'm still like, dude,
Well-
I need some better water in my life.
Yeah, and it's so expensive too. Because for a little bit, I started getting only spring water, so I can get all the minerals, and then it started getting really expensive. So I went back to the sink water, and I have to put it through the filter because they say there's lead in it. But anyway, yeah, I keep thinking about how there's no minerals and how I'm extra removing the minerals.
So I guess you just like get something where you could add them in, maybe. Like
guess
there
that's
has to be
true.
something where you could like add them in, because they just replaced the lead pipes in my building because we got like all the filters from the city.
Okay, you
and
got
stuff.
the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
I can't do tap water. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the way it tastes. It tastes like I went down and scooped up a little pool water. At least
Yeah.
where I live.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of money on purified water. Not necessarily, no, not purified water. Spring water.
I want spring
And
water.
I'll give a little plug to El Dorado here in Colorado.
Okay.
That's who I buy.
How much is that?
Oh, it's.
Because I've been looking at the service delivery and all
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it delivered. I just buy it. At the
You just buy it?
Yeah, I'll buy like a gallon or like one of the the bottles,
Yeah.
which I think we have
Is that
somewhere.
expensive? What's the monthly budget?
99
on that?
cents for a gallon.
So this was from the garage. Hold on.
And then how often do you go through a gallon?
See if there's an El Dorado in there, Art.
How often do you go through a gallon?
Oh, I'll drink a gallon in 2 days.
So you
Easily.
99 cents every 2 days.
Yeah, which is expensive, but that's the brand.
Yes, it says
That's why I was
natural
thinking of
spring
getting
water.
it delivered because you
No, would you do like one of those bubblers?
yeah,
Where you
I definitely
do that
I
thing.
call it button water. I definitely want
Button
button
water.
water.
Button water. Oh, hashtag button water.
You can have this spring water
Thank
because
you.
there's one there. It's really icy. That thing's chilled for beer.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like
So
it's
it froze.
Oh, yeah.
it's mainly ice, but that's you could use it as a weapon too, I guess.
Oh, you could probably knock someone out, but
You should see that episode. It's so crazy.
with Zac Efron.
I'm crazy is an overstatement,
no,
but
yeah,
it's
it
really
makes sense.
interesting.
What's the name of the program?
Down to earth. Is that what it is?
I've seen it on there.
I was actually going to ask you what it was.
He looks
pretty
like
sure
a
it's
pretty.
down to earth.
He looks like a little handsome
He's a good
fella.
looking guy, man.
He's got a nice beard.
You know,
so
I've been watching that, and I was like, dude, you know, he
I know,
grow out
huh?
his beard like that. Maybe I could, you know, shape it.
look, I understand why people think Zac Efron's attractive.
Have you seen his forearms?
His forearms? No, I haven't seen his forearms.
Dude, if I had
they
those
nice?
forearms, I would be a forearm model.
I'm gonna have to watch, and I'll take a look at his forearms, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, yeah, let us know.
Because I want to watch that water episode. I do like learning things.
Speaking about learning things.
And speaking about learning things,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, guys. You guys know it's time for the word of the week.
Word of the week.
Word of the week. We have another submission from a listener in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thanks, Michael, for sending that in.
Thank you, Michael.
We appreciate you. I really hope I pronounced this correctly. I practiced it before the app, and I don't remember if I'm going to do it right. The word of the week is hyperbole.
Hyperbole, that sounds right.
Hyperbole is the word of the week, guys, and I'll give you both a guess at what it is.
Well, use it in a sentence at least.
Okay. Let's see if we can pull up a sentence here.
Isn't it when something's like exaggerated?
Oh, Louie just nailed it. And I'm going to have to skip the sentence part because she already got it right. Because it's a noun, and the first thing under it is an exaggerated statement. So hyperbole, that's what it is. It's an exaggerated statement or claim that's not meant to be taken literally. So if you're being hyperbole about something, maybe you're being sarcastic, maybe you're being over-exaggerative, like, oh, we drank 100 beers that night. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
So Louie got the word of the week.
Sorry.
Way to go. No, that was
sorry. That's awesome.
I think you're the first person that got it.
No, Chris got it.
We did one. Yeah.
Chris knew what the word of the week
That was the only one. That was
Dowdy.
the second one.
That was Dowdy.
Yeah, second one.
So, yeah, Louie knew.
Well done, Louie.
She's obviously well educated because we get these word of the weeks, and I don't know what that word means, but it's going to be fun. And we like to incorporate it. So if you guys want to send in a word of the week, be sure to do so. You can reach us on all social media platforms and send one in.
Yeah, it's fun. I have one more Would You Rather here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so this is a typical Arthur one. Would you rather be able to teleport anywhere or be able to read minds? So you could teleport anywhere, never sit in traffic again. You know, you get anywhere you want. Or would you rather be able to read minds and give yourself that little advantage
Do you wanna go, or
whenever?
you want me to?
You can take it. What do you think?
Teleport for sure. For sure.
I'm going to have to agree with that. I think I don't understand people as it is, so even if I read their mind, I still don't think I'd get it. So I would rather be able to get to wherever I'm going quickly.
Yeah.
If I'm like, I want to be back in New England, and I'm there.
Yeah.
Teleportation all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Another unanimous
Especially
decision.
if you're an overthinker. That's so dangerous to read people's minds.
Oh,
You're going to
yeah.
just start. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
That's a
and
good
honestly,
point.
I didn't think about it until Kevin said it, but if you like jumped into people's minds, like, because the subconscious is just rolling.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
how do you even make sense of it?
Like there's some times where I think something about someone and it's not my, I don't know if this is going to make sense. It's not my permanent thought of that person. It's just my instantaneous thought. Like I might say, oh, they're lazy. But
Like
I
a
don't
first
actually
impression?
think, yeah. And not even a first impression. It's just them at that moment.
Okay.
Like if my brother is doing something like, oh, lazy. But I don't actually think that of him. And if he read my mind, he might overthink it and say, oh, she thinks I'm lazy. It's like, I don't. I think you're great. Just that moment you happen to make me think you're lazy.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good perspective on that, I think.
And if you're an overthinker, you're going to think, oh, this person thinks, this of me, but
Yeah.
it's not true.
Yeah.
I'd much rather teleport. You know, if
Yeah, I think
if
so.
I was able to teleport, what I would accomplish in one day would be amazing. Like, do you think, like, because we can make up rules here.
Okay.
Like, if you're like touching something, can you teleport that with you? You know what I'm saying?
That'd be fun.
So like, I do logistics, and if that was the case, I would be like charging my customers premiums, and I'd be teleporting to that place and like putting my hand on that pallet, poof, and then all of a sudden you're over there. You're like, you get the LTL out,
Yeah.
1 day transfer.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits that come from teleportation. Mind reading, I think, is going to cause issues, like you said, because then overthinking, that's one of the biggest causes of unhappiness and a little bit of stress, overthinking things. I have a tendency to do that. So if I can do things to not do that, I'll teleport.
Yeah. Avoid
Get to
it.
work immediately, get to wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So where can people go to like kind of check out all your stuff? Do you have a spot where it's all at? Do you have?
Probably Instagram is the best spot. I don't post a lot of things right now. Maybe that will change.
If you're staying busy.
No, it's not about that. It's just I So right now, I don't know. I'm being weird about some of my music. So the music is so different from each other, and there's just a lot of pressure around. You got to have this brand, and you got to represent a certain genre and a certain style. And none of my, like, I have a breakdance beat, and then I have, alt rock, and then I have electronic down tempo, and I have all these different genres. So really, nothing's would make sense if I release it under myself. So I've just been sending them out directly to people that can maybe place them. But Instagram, and then you can DM me and ask for my link, and then I'll send it to you maybe.
Okay. We'll include your Instagram in the show notes below, so people, the listeners and the watchers can follow you.
Okay.
And then we'll get them connected with you that way. And hey, it's been fun. Thanks for coming down, Louie.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Do you have a hashtag? Because last time we put you on the spot.
Oh yeah, what was our hashtag last time? You had one. I don't remember what it was.
Did I have one?
I think you might have.
I don't know.
Not even. It doesn't have to be a hashtag. Just like a slogan.
Now I need to have a hashtag.
Yeah, like if you were to have a slogan for who you are, or like a slogan for the people.
Just a statement that you feel passionate about that you're like, boom. What are you thinking?
It's not exactly something I'm passionate about, but it's a hashtag that I thought would be cool. I was thinking of it earlier today. What is it? Sync like no one's watching.
Ooh, I like that.
Which I was like, that'd be a cool shirt. Anyway.
That would be a cool shirt. That would be cool.
But that's obviously if you're in the sync space.
Sure.
I don't know.
But still, I mean, yeah, it fits into what you're talking about, what you're, doing. So sync like no one's watching. And I like to say own it. Own whatever's going on. Own the situation. Be proud of it. No matter what it is, be proud of it. Just own it.
Mm-hmm. You guys already know I'm on that believe and achieve mindset. What's going to be the believe and achieve for this week? Because it's not always easy. And last week I was talking about change your perspective, believe and achieve that. This week, the believe and achieve needs to be something like, I try to make it personal. So I'm believing in achieving, looking inward, and being critical about myself, because I'm the only person that can, I have control over me. So with that being said, like, I'm doing my best to believe in a mindset that is free from outside input to a certain extent, to where like I'm fully myself, and I need to, stay concrete and solid in my own mentality and not be reactive toward, outside. I'm missing the word there.
Influences.
Yeah, influences. Bingo. So that's going to be the believe and achieve for this week. For me, at least, is looking inward and really working hard on knowing who I am and taking a moment for myself. Because I feel like it's easy for us to stray away from who we are, and and there's all these other things that are important for us to do and important for us to accomplish, and all these other eyes that are looking at whatever, and it's like it's easy to get wrapped up in outside influences, and so that's mine for this week is to believe in myself, achieve a mentality that has nothing to prove to anybody, because I'm happy of who I am and I know who I am, and so that's what I've been kind of trying to work on, is focusing a little bit more inward and trying to be true to that person. So that's my believe and achieve for this week. Yeah,
I think that's beautiful, man. You always come in strong when we close these episodes out, and sync like no one's watching. I like that one, Louie. That might just have to stick, Maybe put that on a T-shirt. Teespring is a great place for you to put some T-shirts out there. I'm going to tell you this. Teespring.com/DCPC is where you can find some of our merchandise. If you want to get involved, support us, get yourself a shirt, hat, sticker, what have you. And, to echo that point, like I was saying earlier, man, people are struggling with things. People have things going on. And you got to own it. You got to look within yourself and own whatever it is you're dealing with. Good, bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is, just own it. Own it. Try to be the best you can each day. Get out of bed and just put in that effort. That's part of it. Just getting out of bed and putting in that effort. We always try to end these things on a positive note. Art, you're always good at doing that. So, yeah, man, feeling inspired as always. Another week in the books, and
keep it moving. Let's not let the little trip make us stumble and fall. Let's take a little trip, but then get back up. You know, like nothing has to be perfect. You know, let's do it the way that we want to do it. And you know, just like own that, own your own movement, own who you are. And that's going to speak volume. That's going to help. You're going to inspire people if you're staying solid with yourself and you're being real, and you're not letting people make you crumble. Like, you know, that's we gotta do that, people, for ourselves. It's okay to be selfish. You can't take care of anybody else if you can't take care of yourself. I mean, that's an old saying, but it rings true.
Yeah, I agree with that, man, 100%. Powerful words. And you know what? Another great episode, Louisa.
It's great having you
Thank
back.
you guys.
Yeah, thanks for making the trip back. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
Good to see you out in public.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
to be out in public.
Yeah, and we'll have you on again in the future. And just want to wish you the best of luck and success. And you know, I'm excited to see where all this goes.
Yeah, you guys too. You guys are doing some cool things.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for supporting us. And I'm excited to see how the studio progresses and see what you got going on. And hey, you know, like I said, if you need a little country vocalist, keep me in mind. I'd love to come down.
Yeah, sure.
So, well, until next time, you take care. Thanks for being here. Always great chatting with you. And you guys, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We got another one coming at you next week, episode 68. Mike Cole's back in the building. Lead guitar player for Side Effect. Done a lot of cool stuff. Musician. He's been in a lot of bands. A lot of fun conversation coming next week with Mike Cole. I like to call him Coleslaw. You know, that's my nickname for him. So looking forward to that, man.
Hey guys, this was episode 67. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it true. And we love you.
That's right. See you guys next week.